Hey, dorks! Coming at you from the Lone Star State, a pop culture podcast about movies, TV, toys, and other dorky things, with a twist of real-life dad stuff, too. So here he is, Lucky the Dork Dad. This is the Dork Dad Podcast.
What's up, dorks? Lucky here with another episode of the Dork Dad Podcast. And I just want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by 3leggedrabbit.com. That's the number 3, leggedrabbit.com. Check it out. We got a couple new shirts, so check those out. And of course, you can check out dorkdadpodcast.com. Man, I've been sitting on this episode for about a week now. I have just been busy at home doing some honeydews. So yeah, I've had this episode, and shit, I'm still sitting on the finals from ROU Family Feud. I still need to edit that. I did a little side project with a couple of local guys. They were actually on one of the other shows that I did called Nerd, a Geek, and a Dork. So there's two local guys, Ian and Leo. We wanted to do a little something together to see how it goes. We're going to call it, I think, 3 Geeks and a Microphone. But, yeah, I haven't edited that either. And that was a while back. I mean, we were covering the DC fandom, which seems like a long time ago. But be on the lookout for that as well. On this episode, I talked to Mr. Nick Seidel, which I have known for a long ass time. I think we met back in 6th grade, so yeah, a long time ago. But I really wanted to catch up what he was doing. He's been doing a lot of good things. He's got a website called Nick to the Plus, where he's pretty much where he provides, motivation, advice on anything health and just living a better life. He's a event organizer. I mean, he's just all about that healthy, driven lifestyle, which I'm pretty sure we could all use a little bit of that. But yeah, I just really appreciate Nick really taking some time to talk. We get into some serious stuff, about his past that I didn't know about. He's been through some rough stuff. Probably, we can relate to a lot of stuff he's talking about, that, the stresses of life and depression and you just got to rise through all that and, keep on trucking and as Nick would say, live your life to the plus. So we did start off with some technical difficulties, but nevertheless, we got through it. So here he is, Mr. Nick Seidel, a.k.a. Nick to the Plus. Hello.
Yep. I don't have a cool microphone or headphone though.
That's cool. It's all good.
I got a cool light. See my cool light? But
Nice.
that's I have a like a shirt microphone somewhere, but I don't know where that is.
That's all good, man. It's all,
Yeah.
we're not professionals here.
Uh-huh. Are we live yet or recording?
Yeah. How you been, man?
Good. Yeah, I'll do a Facebook Live, and then I can download it into YouTube, and you can also put it into Instagram TV.
All right.
Maybe I'm a little bit more dorky than you did in that area. Huh?
I like it though.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's pretty.
I was talking to my wife last night, and she's like, "Who are you recording with tomorrow?" And I said, "Oh, it's an old friend from school." And I showed we're watching some of the YouTube videos, and we're getting a kick out of you. Your opening line, right?
Yeah, you want me to do the opening line?
Yeah, man, do it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Good afternoon, awesome people. This is the Plus. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
I have a story behind it. Like, I have this guy that I really follow, and he's like kind of one of my mentors. Stephen Ritz of the Green Bronx Machine. So he was a teacher in the Green Bronx, and he discovered with growing with plants and then doing community projects like cleaning up dirty lots and putting plants and stuff like that, that he turned his students around. You know, some of his students were felons and early pregnancy and early dropout, and he changed all those statistics with his program. You know, so but anyway, I was in a conference, and we had never really met in person, but I like his stuff on Twitter and Facebook, and he turned around and he said, "Nick to the Plus," and that was like the biggest compliment to my brand ever, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I guess we can start just when did we meet? Was it back middle school, wasn't it?
I think your volume dropped out, but I just posted that I'm going to do this, and that's where I think I remember you from first. I think that was in 6th grade, and you're one of the first people I started to talk to in middle school that I didn't know already. You know, I may be remembering that wrong.
No, middle school sounds right. I think 6th grade. That's when I moved back from California. Because I went to Regency during elementary. I don't know what elementary you went to, but and then I moved away to California. I think it was around 3rd grade. Moved back. I think it was the end of 6th grade. So that might be right. I think I remember you. Yeah. I don't know. It's been too long, man.
Hey, I don't know if you have to look at your computer, but I can hardly hear you.
You can hardly hear me?
Yeah. My volume's all the way up.
Let's see.
I don't know what's wrong.
Let me close it and
am I coming through okay?
Yeah, a little breaking up sometimes, but you're good.
Yeah. Now that's better. That's better.
All right, maybe I'm just maybe I was too far from the mic here.
Yeah.
So
cool.
So we've known each other for a while, but then real life happens, and we end up doing our own things. But man, I always admired Mr. Nick Seidel growing up, because I always thought I was gonna see you in the Olympics one day.
Yeah.
Man, because I remember going to the track meets, and you would just blow everybody away. And I was like, man, this guy's gonna be huge. I'm seeing him in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So me too at one point, and I can kind of go through a synopsis of, I guess part of me being a dork is analyzing my past life and how we think and do things now, and how past things affected us and how we act and stuff. So that's part of turning to the plus. So would you like me to go through that?
Yeah, man. Tell me all about Nick to the Plus and how you got started.
Okay. I'll tell you the short. So I am coming out with the book that will go in more detail and all this, but I'm not quite done. I'm still in editing. But yeah, so as Lucky mentioned, in middle school I discovered I could run, and through high school, I just kept developing that. But I guess two of my biggest memories is running my freshman year in varsity district and winning varsity district as a freshman and running a 4:33, something like that. And so that was pretty epic. And then I went to Las Vegas and I'd done some half marathons, and I broke an age group national record for the half marathon at 14, 15, and 16. I was probably one of the best half marathoners of that age. So like you said, I was on track to maybe go to the Olympics. And that was the idea.
Yeah, man.
And so I heard a podcast with Apollo Ono. Do you know who Apollo Ono is?
Ice skater, right? Or
yeah. And he also, after he was retired, he did the Ironman. He trained for the Ironman, and he was basically a sprinter.
Yeah.
So, but he said, if he lost something, his mind would be screwed up for, days or weeks or probably, permanently. He's like, because he was so pressured to perform and always be the best and stuff, And so I could really relate to that because what happened to me, I was involved in 2 car accidents.
Ooh, I didn't know
the
that.
first one basically gave me nerve damage in my left leg. To this day, I can still feel it, But I've learned to overcome it. And then a second accident that I bashed my head into the windshield, and I have chronic neck and left shoulder pain, So when you're coming from, you're identifying yourself as Nick the Runner, and everybody knows you as Nick the Runner, and that's pretty much, you put all your eggs in that basket, and then the basket breaks, your persona or your identity just kind of evaporates from there, And so I think back then I started a depression, and Apollo even mentioned, once you've done all these performances and you're the best speed skater in the world, and then the Olympics are over, it's like, well, what now? So,
Yeah.
Can you relate to any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize you were in those accidents. Was that like somewhere after high school or pretty soon?
It was, I think, the end of the end of my freshman year, and then one in my sophomore junior year. But yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah,
it might have been, the first one might have been at the end of my sophomore year, because I did went to state in cross country my sophomore year, and after that I couldn't, because I couldn't perform the same way. Yeah, so the sophomore year was basically my peak of my running.
That sounds like a lot of these stories of college athletes too. They're expecting to go to the NBA, going to the NFL, and then they have a career-ending injury, and then, like you say, like, now what? So I think it's always.
You were in football, right?
Yeah, but I was small. I mean, I'm not small, but I was short compared to everybody else. I wasn't gonna move on. Obviously, you can't be in the NFL as a lineman shorter than 6 feet. But it was fun. It kept me occupied. And like I said, I remember seeing you at all the track meets. I did shot put. I never placed, of course, but it was just out there to do something, keep busy. But yeah, it's. I guess if you can give advice to anybody, it would be to have a backup plan if you are going in the athletic route. And I think that's why you even see a lot of professional athletes, like, even though a lot of them may have got drafted early before they graduate college, there are a lot of athletes that go back and finish their degree and just making sure they have something else, because you never know what happens,
Yeah. But I just, with recent events, with all that's going on with professional sports, I just kind of really I don't know, I don't know how many people really think deeply about things, or that they, look at something and then they kind of a lot of people make a decision early on. But me, the way I think about what's going on is like what we're talking about. When you're a young kid and you are somewhat good in a sport, there comes a lot of expectation and pressure, to, the end of the golden road is to be a pro athlete, and
Right.
A lot of little kids kind of have that, idea. Oh yeah, if I really work hard, or if I'm good enough, I can be a pro athlete, And then, like you said, if an injury comes along, or they just don't make the team, or something else happens with family or whatever, and then psychologically, I think that messes a lot of people up. And then, but we all have something that we're good at, or something that we're here for, and to everyone be put on a pedestal where you didn't make it to this level, so your worth isn't as great. But I like to look at it that we all have the same worth. It's just the exposure, or what we're involved in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Kind of what made me think of something when you were talking there is, kids thinking, okay, if I work hard and I do this, then, I'll make it. What do you think about like society today? We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and everybody gets a trophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel about that, because when we do that, you figure later on they think, okay, if I just do mediocre work, I'm gonna get rewarded, which we all know that's not the case. You really have to put in an effort, and I just think, I know we don't want to put our kids down, but sometimes I think you need to tell them, hey, that guy is better than you.
Uh-huh. And I want to step beyond giving every kid a trophy is like during their experience during the season or the training or whatever, that, the focus is, you're here to put in the effort and to be your best. You might not be the best, but after this experience, you want to try to be your best. And at the end of the season, if you and the coach agrees that you put in your best effort and you were your best this season, then you get the trophy or whatever. It's kind of changes the focus of it,
Yeah, but I do recommend, though, any kind of athletic equipment, or even just being part of a team. I really think people should consider that for their children, even if they're not the most athletic. Just that camaraderie. I think kids nowadays, with all their electronics, they don't know how to socialize anymore, and team sports are a good way to get that out of people. Being part of something bigger than just you.
Yeah.
So
that's a great point.
Let's talk about Nick to the Plus, man.
Yeah. So after those car accidents, high school kind of ended, and I wasn't the best student, and I was thinking like, well, where can I go from here? And I don't know if you remember at the end of high school, they gave you a big sheet with all these things that you could do.
Yeah.
And I found massage therapy, and part of me getting better from my injuries was massage therapy. And so I said, I could get into that, So I did massage therapy for 10 years. Wow. And you learn more of, mental healing and physical healing, all of it. It's, you kind of get into that world. There's a lot of things you learn, Some people might say, oh, well, that's some are frou-frou. Like my sister does energy work called Reiki, but some people might think, oh, well, that's frou-frou. But, there's some science behind it. But then, I also got into this product, Juice Plus, and it's basically dried, vine ripened, dried, juiced in a capsule to get all your micronutrients or phytonutrients or plant chemicals that you need for your body. It's not to replace fruits and vegetables, but it's to bridge the gap. So that really helped because I was in a depression, and I even established some stomach ulcers from the stress or the depression, and that product really helped me with that. So that was back in 1994 or something. But then, after high school, I didn't go to college right away. I just focused on that massage therapy and coaching, personal training, trying to stay within my passion of, health and fitness and activity. And so then kind of, we all have ebbs and flows, right? Have you had any midlife crises?
Yes. You talk about depression. I've been there, man. I've had my share of roller coasters here.
Yeah, but I think we all go through our challenges. You can't really live life without screwing up here and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sometime in high school, this buddy of mine, I won't name him, but came up with this bright idea to build an oversized firework, like a pipe, PVC pipe about a foot long, fill it with gunpowder, cement both ends, put the caps on the ends, And this thing sat in his truck for at least a year, at least through one Texas summer. And it's just sitting back in his truck, and I'm surprised it didn't, blow up in the high school parking lot or something like that. But all of my main issues, and especially legal, seems to happen right around between July 4th or my birthday is July 19th, right? So this was after high school. I think it was maybe 97, or it was a week or two before I was 21, I think. But, we get history and numbers mixed up in our head. I know that I don't remember everything exact, But it was a week or two before my birthday. We took this thing out of his truck, and we put it in a mailbox and lit it. And that thing blew. I mean, when that went off, I said, "Oh, if," and this was in my neighborhood. So it kind of all scattered. No one really showed up. The next day, the arson department was coming around asking questions. And I don't know if you know this about me, but, I like to think of myself as, pretty honest,
Yeah.
I'm I like to think that people will treat me the same way I treat them, and that's gotten me in a lot of trouble. So with this arson department, I can you hear me?
You broke up a little bit, man, before you started confessing here.
Where'd you leave? Where'd I leave off?
You started talking about the arson department coming by.
Yeah, and I confessed fully with, telling the full truth without a lawyer, and I learned that's not the best way to go about things when you're in a legal issue. You only want to tell them what they know, yes or no, not the whole story. So I pretty much took that whole rap. I was on probation for 4 years.
Wow.
And that's when I kind of started to figure out I had an issue with drinking, And so in order to look good in front of that judge, so things happen, and they can either get worse, or you can either make a good decision and make your life better, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what living to the plus is, but this is not what I created to the plus. So I had to make a choice, and I decided to go to college to look better in front of the judge,
Right.
I still thought of myself as a poor student, but I needed to enroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things with addiction, they tell you, new places, new friends, new playthings and stuff, right? So I moved to College Station and went to Garden, and that was the year that the stack fell for the bonfire.
The bonfire, right?
Yeah, so I experienced that whole thing, and it was horrible,
I was gonna say, that wasn't you too, was it?
No, I would drive by it every single day, and it looked like an ant pile. I said, "Man, there's a lot of people on that stack," you know. And sure enough, they skipped the safety step, and it fell. And there are 12 kids that died.
Man.
And that, yeah. So, do you remember that, or?
Yeah, I remember that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Now they have a memorial over there.
So,
yeah.
Talk about
so you make you going?
Alcohol addiction. I think, when we're kids, when we're young, we do stupid stuff. But I think that's just a part of life. I think we all have to go through something that something's always there to trigger. Okay, I need to start being an adult now. But I think we've all done stuff like that, man. I don't want to say stuff that I've done, but let's just say I've done some things that probably are not legal either. So
yeah, well, I've learned, the stuff's in my past, and sometimes it may come and haunt me. But if I tell a story, someone might hear it and think about it or improve or ask me questions, to help them. If it can help one person, you've done a good deal.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man.
Did that all come out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Sharing knowledge, especially to kids, right? You have boys, right?
Yeah, I have 2 kids. Well, kind of go in order. After College Station, I ended up transferring to Texas State for the sole purpose that they had a triathlon team there. They were the only school in Texas that had a triathlon team at the time. And I was getting into triathlon. I'd done a duathlon in College Station. And so that was a big part of my life, is getting involved with the triathlon team. And then eventually we had the annual fundraiser. It's the Texas State Sprint Triathlon. It was the only time people were allowed to swim in Ocarina Springs.
Wow.
And over the past 20 years, I've been involved with that race, and we had to, of course, cancel it this year because of Rona.
Yeah, that sucks.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so I got into event production. I had my own business, Seidel Productions, and I was up to 3 triathlons and 2 runs.
Wow.
And then, but, so I did get married, and, I go more into detail in the book, but it's just, you need to find that person, if you just jump into something real quick and you think you love someone for this reason or not, I think a lot more people should spend more time exploring relationships and connections, and just signing a piece of paper and having a ceremony doesn't make it that you're going to have a great marriage, so.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Would you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, like my wife, we met in high school. She went to Judson, but we met. I don't know if you remember. I worked at the Galaxy, or the theaters.
Oh yeah,
they recently,
I love that place.
They recently,
there, right?
Yeah, they recently changed the name back to the Galaxy, so that's cool.
Oh wow.
But yeah. So I knew my wife, or I met my wife, in high school. While we were in high school, and after high school, I got a job offer in Fort Worth. So at that time, we were still going out, but I just kind of cut ties. It was seemed kind of a dick move at the time, but again, like you said, I kind of just wanted to make sure there was nothing else out there, I guess. And then So I was in Fort Worth for
Yeah.
about 3.5 years or so, and then I got laid off. That was right after 9/11. So
Uh-huh.
I got laid off. I came back home to San Antonio, and I decided to get back with my old girlfriend, which is now my wife. So
Yeah.
in other words, I had my fun in Fort Worth for a while. I got to see what else was out
Uh-huh.
there, and I realized, yeah, she was probably the one. So
Yeah,
so now
yeah.
we're married. So
Yeah, more of a process like that because I got married after 7 months and we were really different. You know, we had that first attraction, but we learned pretty quickly we were different. My life is triathlon. You know, that's I. You call yourself Dork Dad. I call myself a tri geek because I'm not the type of geek that can regurgitate all kinds of information and facts on people and brands and shoe brands and all that stuff. But I'm a geek within the lifestyle. You know, I just
right.
love the lifestyle of training and being active and going to the races and meeting all the people and stuff like that.
And that's got to be a good stress reliever, isn't it? I mean, you're on your
Yeah,
own. You're on your own. You're
yeah,
just focusing on getting to the end, right?
yeah. But in event production, there's a lot of responsibility and time and planning and commitment, and that became a competition between my wife and triathlon.
Hmm.
It was like me, it's my lifestyle, but she thought it was a competition for her love or her time or whatever, which kind of soured the marriage. But we ended up being married for 10 years, and we have two boys. So River is now 16. He's a concert violinist. He
Nice.
just got his license. He's working at the Grease Monkey, changing oils. But
Nice.
he's also worked with the company I work with, High Five. We put on the Austin Marathon, all the major running races and triathlons in Austin. And so since he was like 14, he's been getting paid for working events. So he's a good boy. And then my younger son is Mathis. He's 12 years old. He likes video games. He's a bit of an artist. He can draw and stuff, and so he's still looking for his passion, I think. That's another thing. You mentioned sports for kids is, I don't care what you're passionate about. Just find something that you really love to do that you're good at that makes you feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I
Uh-huh.
talked about, my oldest is a senior this year. He's in the band. He plays
Uh-huh.
trombone. My daughter, she's been doing competition dancing since she was 5. Her love is
Uh-huh.
tap dancing, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's gonna be a freshman this year, and she just made the high school dance team. My youngest, we're still trying to figure out what he wants to do. He's all into Fortnite
Yeah.
right now.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. So talk about event production, marriage, and then uh, so I got a job at HEB, and I was only going to do it for a year so I could focus on my production business.
Mm-hmm.
But so I was with HEB for 10 years. Started in the mailroom, and I still have that thing where Michael J. Fox, Secret of Success. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, it's a great
Like, man,
movie.
I started in the mailroom, man. I'm gonna have a Charles Butts job, like in a year or two. But it didn't actually work out that way. But yeah, and then went into the print shop and the mailroom at HEB are connected, and I learned the flexographic printing press. It's a press that makes all the labels. So if you go to the milk carton shelf, it's kind of like a triangle sticker. You know what I'm talking about? The
Yeah,
HEB
yeah.
milk. We started printing those, but now they probably print anything that sticks on with a label. But they can do film and all that stuff. So I did that, and then the print shop that I work on, we became, in safety. So you've heard of OSHA?
Yep.
So if you have a really safe place, you can go through OSHA through this process called Voluntary Protection Program, or the VPP. And so it's quite an honor, accommodation for being a safe work location.
That's
sometimes
awesome.
you go past oil refineries and you'll see a flag, a white flag and it says VPP or something. That's what that means, right? So that gal that was a safety person went to the meat plant because the meat plant is the most unsafe plant, So if we put a good safety person in a unsafe place, maybe they'll get safer, right? So my plant leader said, "Hey, Nick, you have a degree and you like health and stuff. You want to be the safety guy?" And I said, "Oh, okay." And so that kind of opened a big can of worms. So you learn safety, you learn process improvement. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called Six Sigma or 6S.
Yep.
It's all about process improvement, and so I got another basic college education and all that, manufacturing, lean manufacturing, the Toyota way, so
Funny you mentioned
you learn
that.
a lot of, huh?
Funny you mentioned that. I am real familiar with the Toyota way.
Oh, do you work at the Toyota plant?
Yeah, I work at the plant.
Oh, I've been there.
You're breaking up, man.
They still have that andon. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'll try to move Am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they still have that andon system where?
All right, I lost you completely. All right, you froze up, man.
Can you hear me now?
All right, now I can.
Sorry about that. All right, now can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, sorry about that. I was asking about the andon system and the songs that play, and you know what to do?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still that. Yeah. I thought that was the coolest. Or is it annoying?
It is pretty annoying, but
yeah.
it's smart. The Japanese are smart,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. I've learned a whole lot working there.
Yeah. Yeah, so you understand. I mean, there's just a whole world of manufacturing and safety and process improvement. It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so then kind of my second challenge, so at some point my ex-wife decided to leave me, and, I'm not going to get into all that, but that kind of still, kind of put me in a depression. I ended up having my younger son for 2 years, and she had my older son. But then I made poor choices with women, and this was a time where I kind of what you were talking about in Dallas,
Right.
And women and drinking, and then so 2014 July 4th again. So I told you in July is when I get in trouble. But I was good for about 15 years, but got popped for a DUI with my kids in the car. So what I learned from that, a lot of people drink a few and then they drive, right? And it was a 4th of July family thing by the river. At one point I had stopped drinking. You know how you're getting out of the river and all the rocks are slippery?
Yep.
I was doing that. I had 2 dogs in one hand and my dad's girlfriend on another hand, trying to help her out of the river on slippery rocks, and so I didn't think my, what do you call it? When you drink your, what's it called? Oh, dang it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
When you're drunk?
No, your capability, man, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll come up with it in a minute, but I could walk. I wasn't and then I ate, and I gave it a little bit more time, and then most people don't know their drug alcohol or alcohol level, when they're getting the car,
Yeah.
but I got popped, and so that kind of really is where I almost came to hitting bottom. I actually kept my job for 5 more months until I got into a program called Challenge Court, and so this is another real big issue to me. The correctional system. Most correctional programs aren't mandated to recover or redevelop people to go back into society. It's just punishment.
Right.
And we spend a lot of money on that, and it's not beneficial for that person or society. The function that our current correctional systems do, right? So this Challenge Court was a progressive program where it was,
I lost you again, man. Oh, you froze up on me. Give me a few minutes. I can plug my phone into what I'm recording onto, and I'll get you that way. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I can edit all this stuff. Don't worry about it. This works, man. It's good.
Cool. Yeah. So where should I start off from?
You're talking about. What are you talking about?
The DUI and
Yeah, the correctional facility, and you
Yeah.
froze up.
Okay. So yeah, I went through this program called Challenge Court, and it focused more on recovery and rehabilitation and support. It had a judge, a probation officer, and then the DA and community members that were part of the program, including a psychologist and all that stuff. So you had a lot of resources, and it was really helpful. And I think they should have more programs like that in our correctional facilities, right? But yeah, so I also went through rehab for 30 days, and that's why I lost my job at HEB. But quick fact about that. So the facility was out in Center Point near Fredericksburg, but they had a complex, and like they actually had a trail all the way around it, and it was like a 1K, 1,000 meters, just under a mile to run all the way. And so I was, me being me, I was like, well, every day I'm here, I'm gonna run a lap, So I built up to 30 laps, and it ended up being like, so 30K, it's around 18 miles or something like that.
Damn.
So just in circles. And I guess I could tell you, did you hear anything about my circle running or my lake swimming?
No, I haven't.
So kind of similar to that, So part of being the plus, and so I developed being to the plus in recovery, because I was like, man, I'm like at the lowest part of my life. I lost my marriage, lost my kids, lost my job. I could either be real pissed off or depressed, or I could make the best of this. Learn from this and pull myself out of it. So that's kind of what living to the plus or Nick to the plus is all about, right?
But I think everything that we go through makes us who we are. I think
Yeah. But we all have a choice to either be bummed out and make the situation worse, or be positive about it and look at what we're grateful for and what we can learn from it and how we can get better from that experience.
Yeah, and like I said, I've had some downfalls myself. Just I don't know if you call it a midlife crisis or just feeling stagnant. Just being the feeling of being stuck where I'm at. I'm not going anywhere. And and just settling for what I have. And it's tough because as much as I like my job, I definitely rather be doing something else. But at the same time, you have responsibilities, you have a family, and just all those pressures. It's like, am I being selfish to want something else? Well, I'm not thinking of my family, or there's just a lot of different ways to look at it. And I was in a rut for a good long while, and then I just realized, I just gotta keep on trucking, and things will come, and like this whole podcasting thing has helped me. You just have to find a distraction. For you, it might be running and swimming, biking, or just doing your YouTube videos. You have to have some kind of release, some kind of something that takes you out of the real world, I guess you could say, and just.
But also creating or having some kind of outlet where you can be creative or feel like you're producing something.
Yeah.
It just kind of opens up your mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So but so you understand. I mean, I'm in the same spot. I mean, I like my job and it's a decent job, and I'm doing really good at it. But it's like I'm bored, because I want more challenge, and then, but like you, I'm trying to build, side things and side income and side activities where you feel fulfilled, and like you're doing something in life.
Yeah, like I have this, and I also I started a T-shirt company. It's called Three-Legged Rabbit T-shirt company.
Yeah,
you can look that up. It's the number 3-legged rabbit. It's kind of a play on my name, Lucky. Rabbit's foot's good luck. So
that's cool.
I got that going, and along the way, I try to help other people out too. As much as I can either within podcasting, helping other people out on other shows, or just helping other people, trying to get things done, trying to do what they want to do,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I try to do what I can.
Yeah, so I was going to tell you about so part of To the Plus is challenging myself, because I've always been an endurance athlete, and this is probably what my second book is going to be about. It's called like first finishing and the overall experience. So in my career, I had great accomplishments and finished first place, and right. And then a lot of the culture now is just, well, I just want to finish an Ironman or finish a marathon, And there's a whole kind of thinking behind that I want to get into in a book. But then what I've found is like, you don't have to pay $1,000 to do a race and, hotel and all this stuff. You can go in your own backyard and challenge yourself, So I created the Hill Country Playground Company. So I have, Nick to the Plus brand, and I'm also trying to develop that concept and that idea. But what I did to challenge myself is, so I don't know if you know, but the Guadalupe River from Canyon Lake, and then there's different sections of the river that are dammed up. So there's Lake Dunlap, Lake McQueenie, Lake Placid. So there's these different lakes, right? And so I said, well, I don't think anybody's ever swam them, and I have this whole thing about swimming upriver. I don't like to swim downriver. I like to feel the current against me and swimming up rivers. So these are dammed up lakes, and there's not a whole lot of current, but 2 years ago, starting in October, I swam Placid, and then McQueenie, and then Dunlap, and then finally Canyon Lake over a two-month period. Right?
Wow.
And I also did it during the winter, so I think Canyon Lake was a week or two before Christmas, and the water was 56 degrees,
Oh
and
man.
that's an 8-mile swim over 5 hours. So I really had to go to a place in my head to, one, I was like, you don't freak out that you're going to freeze to death, and you don't freak out that the water's 150 degrees or 150 feet deep,
Damn.
And so you kind of go to a place in your head of, acceptance and accomplishment, and that you have to push past, these limitations in your head or your physical limitations,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. I mean, we used to go to Landa Park all the time. What's the water like 70 degrees there? It's like
Yeah.
that was cold for me.
Yeah, I had a wetsuit and a neoprene cap, but so I was gonna attempt this again and do all of it sequentially with runs in between. But and this young man named Ryan Belke, he passed away of cancer. He was a college kid. He had actually borrowed my bike to go to college nationals, and he battled cancer and lost.
Man.
So I was gonna do it again and kind of dedicate it to him, but that's when Lake Dunlap broke. Do you remember that happening?
I don't remember.
I'll send you a YouTube, but it was a 90-year-old dam that's been through 20 floods at least, and it just gave out and the whole lake drained. So it kind of put a damper on my plans there. So, but
hopefully we can get back to some normalcy and can start things back up again, man.
Yeah. But a second challenge I did was, are you familiar with the New Braunfels Circle or Square? Where there's the gazebo and those war memorials and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that inner circle is 1/8 of a mile around, and it was an idea for a couple of years, but in 2019 I was just, well, I'm gonna run 2019 times around that circle. And so if you do the math, 2019 time with 1/8 of a mile, it works out to like 256 miles.
Wow.
So I was shooting to do it in like 10 or 20 days, and I ended up doing it in 24 days. But I average about 10 miles a day. But awesome. I didn't get a lot of publicity out there. Like, people saw me all the time and would honk at me, but I was trying to raise money, and I started a crowd rise. It's GoFundMe bought it, but it's more not like, instead of raising money for yourself, you're raising money for specific charities. And so I started that, but it's hard getting people's attention and getting people's money, man.
It is, man, but that's an awesome feat. I mean,
yeah.
If you got anything going on in the future here, just let me know. I'll do whatever I can too to help promote you, get some eyes on it,
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I still have some plans, Rona kind of messed things up, but yeah, so that's basically it. I mean, now I'm just trying to figure out, before Rona, I was thinking about changing how I do events, because holding a triathlon, there's liability. You have to get, the permitting is always getting more difficult. There's more housing developments and so more traffic, and I'm wanting to do more smaller events, like weekend-long experiences, either retreats or tours, or, like I'm saying, like challenges. It's not necessarily an Ironman, but you're going to go out, and that weekend you're going to go to that place in your head. It's like, well, can I do this? And where we push you beyond what you thought you were possible, but have an experience.
You ever consider like the smaller ones, like maybe the everyday person can go to these 3Ks, or like the mud runs. I actually did one back in the day, which is fun.
Yeah.
And we actually did a whole group from work. Like, we had a big group go out, and I don't know, those are fun too. I don't know what.
Challenging experiences.
Yeah, yeah, pushing yourself. I'll send you a neat picture from that run we did. They actually took a picture of our group. It's actually a picture of me. They're trying to help me get over this big wall, but
Yeah.
it was a good time.
It's about team building too, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Working as a team.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's basically Nick to the plus. I'm just always trying to get better, be positive, like help people as
Yeah,
best I can.
I really dig your YouTube videos. I mean, you're putting yourself out there. You're trying to inform people to stay healthy, stay motivated, and keep moving, and maybe teaching them something that they didn't know, or something new that they can use in life.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, so I mean, I think after this whole Rona, I mean, what I think's going to be really important is, connecting with more people like this and in person, and building community, and really focusing on local development, because as we're seeing, all of our systems are so ginormous. They're too big and they're going to fail.
Yeah,
And they're not benefiting everybody. They're benefiting a few people. So if we develop more local programs and local development, and focus on that local support and community and the individual, I think that's the key with the whole racial issues, because we want to group people in a category, the black people or the Mexicans or the dorks or whatever,
yeah,
the Republicans, the Democrats. But we're, like I said at the beginning, we're all individuals that we need to focus on who we are and what our contribution is, and what our neighbor's contribution and value is, and not categorizing them. I think that's a big part of the issue.
absolutely. I mean, we're all just people, right? In the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but that's about it, man. I mean, I really appreciate your
Yeah,
caring.
man. Like I said, I wanted to catch up with you. It's been too long.
I know.
I know you kind of reached out to me a while back, and we never got together,
Yeah,
and yeah, but
it's hard.
it's hard, Like I said, family, you got responsibilities, but I definitely anything you got going on, man. I'd really like to help out too, and in any way I can, whether just
Cool.
promoting it on the site or whatever,
Yeah, and I'll promote your. I already tagged your, but I think that's a cool name, the Dork Dad.
Yeah. I've said it a lot of times before. I named it that because I wanted to get my kids involved, but they just weren't having it. So so it's just me. But
Yeah.
well, before you go, I like to do a thing I call Dork Dad Questions,
Okay.
and they're just 10 random questions. There's no right or wrong answer. Just some are silly, whatever. But you ready for these Dork Dad questions?
Are they the same every time?
No.
No, you change them.
I change them up, maybe something to tailor who I'm talking to, but
Oh, okay, cool.
all right. You ready for
Okay,
this?
yeah, I'm ready. Ready. Yeah.
All right. Question number 1. What is your favorite vegetable?
I'd have to say, let's see, dang. I don't know. It's hard. I guess fresh, something fresh. I mean, like picked out of a garden.
Anything fresh.
Yeah,
All right.
the fresher the better. Yeah.
I like zucchini, by the way.
Yeah. I like peppers if they're
zucchini
not
and
too
broccoli.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Number 2.
Okay.
If you could go back in time to witness a historical event, what would it be?
I mean, I mentioned my story about my car accidents. I think if I could go back and tell my 15, 16-year-old self, like, don't get in the car with another teenager that has less than a year of experience. And I think I try to tell that to I tell it to my kids, and I tell it to any parents or kids. Don't let your kid get in a car with a inexperienced driver, because I mean that it changed my life, you know.
Yeah, like my son, he's 17, and I still worry sometimes. I mean, he basically just drives to work and back, which his work is maybe 2 miles away.
Yeah.
But I still get worried, but because I know how I was as a young driver, and I'm just assuming, or hopefully he didn't inherit my my dumbness when it comes to driving. But
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'd do.
all right, let's see. Number 3, Fuji apples or Fuji bikes?
The Fuji ones are real kind of tangy, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I think I'd go with a bike, yeah.
All right.
But I mean that's not the best brand, but I mean, no, I'd go with Apple. Yeah, I think I'd go with Apple.
All right.
Yeah.
What brand of bike do you sport?
My bike,
Yeah.
it's a felt triathlon bike.
All right.
Yeah. But you always want a new one.
Oh yeah.
I was riding. Okay, this is kind of dorky. I was riding yesterday, and I didn't know about these, but both the people I was riding had them. But they have these radar things that you can put on the back of your bike, and it'll like beep, or it'll show up on your display or whatever that a car is coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it reads it like maybe 50 to 100 meters away.
I know I have that in my.
Cool.
I know I have that in my truck, but.
Do you want me to tell you my last exciting story about riding?
Go ahead, man.
So I'm starting to ride my bike to work at least 2 to 3 times a week. I did it once last week, but I didn't have the lights, you know. I have this mentality that I'm a cat, because, you know, but anyway, I'm on a country road at 5 o'clock in the morning, completely dark. And, you know, I'm afraid of dogs, because I've been chased by dogs twice in the past month. And I was like trying to check out for dogs, and I heard this rustle, and all of a sudden, like, a whole family of wild boar crossed my path, you know, and they're like, they're squeaking, and I'm like, go, just go. I almost lost my, you know, soiled my shorts there. Yeah. But one of them was actually as big as my bike, man. They're big. If I was 3 to 5 seconds faster, man, I would have been lunch meat. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Question number 4. If you could talk to animals, what animal would you want to talk to?
I think dogs. I mean, I think they'd have the most to say. You know, cats would be kind of moody. You know.
Yeah, cats are jerks.
I think you could learn a lot from a dog.
I know my dogs. My dogs are so observant. Like, they just watch every little thing that we do.
But then you might just get bored. They would keep rambling. Yeah. But, yeah, I think dogs.
All right. Let's see. Question number 5. If someone asked you to be your apprentice, what would you teach them?
I think just challenging yourself and overcoming challenges, and, you know, having more confidence in yourself. You know, basically, you know, coaching them through what I've learned of psychology and, you know, that we're all capable of doing more than we think we are.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention. I know I see your kids doing triathlons too, right?
They haven't done one in a while. My son did the one I put on at Texas State. He did it last year.
I think that's great, man.
Yeah. They're not as into it as I am, but
They completed it though, right?
yeah. They weren't long ones. They were more of the short ones.
That's
Yeah,
still
but
cool.
I think my son at one point he said he wanted to try one of the long ones. So that'd be cool.
That is cool. All right, let's see. Number 6. If all of the states in the U.S. were represented by a food, what would Texas be?
Chili pepper.
A chili pepper?
I think so.
A hot one? Habanero? Or
Yeah, something hot. Yeah.
are you into?
check, huh?
Are you into the spicy stuff?
I mean, I think when I was younger, I liked it, but man, sometimes I put a pepper and I think I'm gonna die.
You ever watch Hot Ones? You know what that is?
Nuh-uh.
I think it comes on TV now, True TV maybe, but on YouTube there's a thing called Hot Ones where they have a lot of celebrities and they go through like a whole spectrum of different hot sauces, like they're eating hot wings at the same time. It's yeah, you'd be surprised
I need to check that one out.
You'd be surprised some of the celebrities are kind of babies about it. Let's see, number 7. I don't know why there seems to be a lot of food things here, but number 7. What is your most impressive go-to meal that you can cook?
The last one I got it pretty good, but I like putting a bunch of potatoes, sweet potatoes, and all the roots I can get a hold of, so
yeah,
radish, onion, all the roots, so roots are good carbs,
yeah,
and so, and then trying to do a curry with that.
Nice.
That's kind of my favorite original, thing that I do.
I think I could get down with that.
Yeah, it's real good.
My wife don't like curry, but I do.
And I figured out, I think it's cumin or oregano go really well together, too. I like cumin and, curries.
That's great.
Yeah.
And let's see. Number 8. If you could replace a part of your body with an improved mechanical version, what would it be?
I'm kind of interested in that Neuralink that Elon Musk is working on. Have you heard about that?
No. What's that?
You haven't? He's basically working on something you can put into your skull, and our phones are basically AI, they're an extension of our knowledge, right?
Right.
Because you can look anything up, right? So, but, texting and scrolling through Facebook, it's all very, our bandwidth to absorb or put out data is very limited, right? So with the Neuralink, it's basically, you can see or think the thing, you know what I'm talking about? It's connecting you to the data, where, kind of like the Matrix,
That's scary.
It's kind of scary, but he also mentioned that eventually they'll be able to, reroute so that you can see if you're blind, or that you can walk if you're paralyzed, or, so
it's kind of like,
I don't know if all that's true, and it probably won't happen for the next 5 or 10 years, but I think that would be pretty cool.
That's a little Black Mirror, like you see that show Black Mirror?
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, but I agree, it's a little bit scary. But I mean,
some people might think it's that whole thing about them trying to put microchips in everybody so they know where everybody's at. And
I know, yeah, it's a little bit different. But other than that, I would replace my like left hip and leg because that's where those car accidents affected me. I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, I can walk and I've done Ironmans and stuff, but it's still a limiting factor.
And it don't help. We're getting older, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
but that's life.
All right.
All right.
What would you replace?
I'd say my legs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I need to work out my legs a little more because
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, I'm diabetic, so
Uh-huh.
I got poor circulation in my legs. But I walk a lot at work, but it just
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you ever wear those compression socks or something?
No, I mean it's not to that point, but I can definitely feel a difference in my legs.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, let's see. Number 9. 9 is one's got to go. Right?
Okay.
So one's got to go. We got the Super Bowl, the World Series, or the NBA Finals.
Oh man. I don't know if you saw my recent post, but I post some controversial stuff about that. I've never been a huge fan of professional sports because, like we were speaking about earlier, I think it messes some kids up, with that
absolutely.
expectation I think they're for sure put on too high of a pedestal, I think we should go, like I'm saying, more local. Tell me I'll answer the question here in a minute, but like, what do you think if the system was redesigned like this? Because so Teresa, my girlfriend, her dad was on a local New Braunfels farm semi-pro baseball team.
Uh-huh.
What if there was more focus on not national or the superstars, but there's more local pro teams, over the past 5 years, the top high school football players would, be on the pro team or whatever, right? But then, they wouldn't be as famous or wouldn't be paid as much, but they were also involved in the community as, helping develop the local football programs and being involved in that and promoting it. And then so that's their kind of pipeline to the farm team,
Yeah, I think that's
And then local businesses would support it and sponsor it and be involved, and you'd create a network with the local businesses, and then all the community would be involved, and somehow, I think it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to professional sports, I mean, their athletic ability is a big draw to people and the business, but it's really hard to justify, at least me, that these people make millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it, I guess, But what gets me is there's certain players or people that really appreciate the sport, and then there's some, that are just, they hold out for more money, and they're just in it for the money, and just that's the part of professional sports I don't like.
Yeah.
People always dig on the Spurs. We were always the good guys or the goody two shoes.
Yeah.
But I think that whole organization, they found players that were in it for the team. Manu always, riding the bench. He didn't care about starting,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
always hear about Spurs players taking pay cuts so they can bring other people in. It's like no one else out there does that.
Exactly. And I mean, how much money do you actually need? And half of the people that have that, they don't know what to do with it, and they end up throwing it away. Where, why
Yeah,
can't some of that money go to more people to benefit more people instead of just being wasted?
yeah. That's the worst thing when I hear them say, "Well, I need to provide for my family." It's like, how many more millions do you need? I mean,
Uh huh.
I mean,
But also the thing is that they're sports, and sports are supposed to be synonymous with health and good practices and activity, and right. And there's programs out there that the NBA and the baseball and the basketball all reach out to communities, but what is their actual effectiveness in local communities versus their potential, to get on to the TV and promote local activity and promote, eating healthy and healthy activities versus all their sponsors are, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, stuff like that.
yeah,
And it's
really,
all about the money and the marketing and what the bottom line is versus how's this actually benefiting the people, I don't know. That's kind of the way I think about it.
yeah. I'm with you,
But
man.
with this whole Rona, I mean, being in safety and understanding health and fitness, I think we've done everything backwards,
Yep.
But I'm not saying don't say mask or don't say social media, but I mean social distancing, but also in February, March, the president should have come on the TV like, hey, this thing is coming. It's a known fact that we're most unhealthy and weakest and, pity party country in the world. I'm a fat ass. I eat McDonald's, but I need to get better. So let's start Get Healthy America campaign.
Yeah.
And he could have even had fun with it and made it funny but we don't see any of that stuff.
No.
So
It's all about the mighty dollar,
I know.
and
So.
what's in it for me.
hmm So, but yeah, I mean, y'all have safety at the Toyota plant, right?
Oh yeah, we're all safetied out. I mean, I have to wear a mask, a face shield.
Uh-huh. That was before Rona.
Oh well, no, right now during Rona, but I mean, yes, safety is our number one priority, even
Uh-huh.
before
I mean,
this.
y'all, did you wear PPE before that?
Oh yeah, especially the group that I'm in.
Uh-huh.
We got hard hats, safety glasses,
hmm
whole works, safety vests.
hmm And you have to check those out and keep a kind of a log of when you used it or how old it is and
Yep.
the standards, right? And then you received a training for that, right?
Yes. Yep.
On how to use it properly and how not to use it and when to exchange it out or get a new one, right?
Yes.
But none of that was done. It just wear a mask, So that's my biggest issue being a safety guy is like, we don't have any standards, we don't have any training, we don't have any checklists, everybody's wearing it wrong, It's just like, it's just kind of a joke
Yeah.
when you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. I mean, if we dive into that, it's a lot of places, you're required to wear some kind of face covering. I mean, we were at the store the other day, and there was a guy that literally had like a hairnet over his face, and
I know,
I
right?
could tell the employees like wanted to tell him something, but he does have something over his face, which
Yeah.
not really doing anything.
Yeah, but I'll get back to the question. So the Super Bowl is actually the third best day to run a ride. It comes after New Year's, Christmas, and then there's the Super Bowl because there's less traffic. So that's the one I wouldn't get rid of.
All right.
So that's the way I'll answer, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. The last question is kind of finish this line, right?
Okay.
All right. So, don't worry. Be what?
Live to the plus, man.
All right. Live to the plus.
That's how I close out all my videos. Live to the plus.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey man, it was real good talking to you. You know, getting back in touch, figure out what you got going on.
Cool.
Yeah, before you go, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and find Nick to the Plus and all that?
Oh, okay. So my email's nicktotheplus@gmail. My website's nicktotheplus.com. And pretty much on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, look for Nick to the Plus.
All right.
So, but
all right.
Cool.
Well, again, it's been good talking to you, man.
Great. Well, I appreciate it, and stay safe and stay healthy out there.
All
Live
right.
to the plus.
You've been listening to the Dork Dad Podcast. Please remember to follow, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Until next time, keep it dorky.